Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 28th edition of KPN ARTWaves, hosted by 1623 Studios. This show every week showcases one of our fantastic local artists here on KPN. And after the interview, our show is found all over the internet and YouTube and 1623studios.org and Facebook. And I'm very honored to co-host and co-produce this show with my fellow artist and art lover, Christine Fisher, who is on the alternate week. So this week, my special guest and somebody from the Wearable Art Group that I've been very, very proud to be part of and be a founder of is Pavlina Gilson from Manchester by the Sea, who has an incredible studio hidden away on a beautiful lane. And she's going to tell us about her collection. She makes wearable art and fashion, and she's won awards on the runway in the past on Celebrate Wearable Art on the Runway. And she has a rich background, both personally and professionally. And we're just so lucky to have our own fashion designer locally here in Cape Ann, Pavlina Gilson. So we're going to start today, Pavlina. Welcome.
And thank you for having me.
So glad to have you. And I'd like to kick off by having you tell us about your background, your education, a little bit about your journey to Cape Ann. And we see your fantastic studio in the background. So you're welcome to talk a little bit about your studio. But tell us about Pavlina.
Oh, about Pavlina. So I was born in the Czech Republic and moved to the state a while ago now, went to mass art and fashion design, and ended up Cape Ann in Manchester, beautiful place.
Well, tell us how that happened. You didn't just land on Cape Ann, just fall out of the sky.
I met my husband and I moved here, and I'm here. So it somehow all came together, and I'm very happy I'm here.
Yes. Well, how many years have you had your studio in Manchester by the Sea?
12 years.
12 years. Okay. And
Yes.
This is not actually at your home. It's a separate location. It's a studio.
It's a separate location. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Great. Okay. Well, it's a beautiful spot, and I know the views are fantastic. And so everybody will have to find their way there after this interview. And I have to thank Christine Kelly, another fellow wearable artist, who was the one that introduced me to you, Pavlina, because you are not the easiest person to find. So that's what the purpose of today is. So we can tell your story more broadly. So let's talk about what you love the most, which is your work and your inspiration. And then I want to talk about, your clients and how people feel when they wear the clothing that you make. So just talk first about the inspiration for your work.
So for my inspiration, I'll kind of look for inspiration and find inspiration almost anywhere in everyday life, just trying to notice a little bit different things, pieces, nature, architecture, and there might be like some pieces that stick in my mind and eventually come up. There's one picture attached from a castle and a gate that's from my hometown in the Czech Republic. And actually, I was back home a couple of weeks ago. And I just realized the gate was closed. And I've seen the gate like for, I don't know, that I remember like for 45 years. And it's actually, finally, I realized it looks like a butterfly. And I'm planning to use it in my hopefully near future designs. So the inspiration, it's everywhere, and sometimes it just surprises us.
And you just take it one step at a time. That's great.
Exactly. Yeah. So for anyone who wants to do any art, just look around yourself, because inspiration, it's everywhere. You just have to just take it and absorb it. And
yeah. But I do think I've seen your work as very architectural. And in fact, it was the architectural award that you won at the last Celebrate Wearable Art Show, if I recall. Is it not?
Yes, yeah. That
Yes.
was for my coat. Yeah, that the
Mhm.
inspiration behind that was a medieval castle in the Czech Republic.
Yeah.
It's still one of my most favorite pieces I ever made. I still love it
Fabulous.
after. I think that's
Mhm.
that piece. It's about 15 years old.
Mm.
Yeah, but I still love it. It's still.
It's classic. It's
It
classic. And
is.
I think,
Yes. Thank you.
yeah, I think that's what inspires me about your work is that it's stylish, but it's timeless. And, that's certainly from a fashion standpoint, what I loved about like the early part of the 20th century too. Some of those pieces, you could wear them anytime. And I think
Yeah.
that's how I feel about your work. It's stylish, it feels comfortable, and yet it's timeless. So, I mean,
Yeah,
I think
so
that's
that's
great.
what I kind of trying to do with my design. So there are pieces, you can wear if they're just not for 1 year. You can wear them anytime. And I always try to do with my designs add some elements, features that you can change the designs and the garment and wear it a little bit different way or accessorize it or just change a color or add a belt and then you almost feel like you have another piece on.
Right.
And so I feel about my line, it's a timeless elegance with a modern edge. So it will have the classic timeless silhouette, but there will be like some pieces that make it unique, or you can make them unique.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I agree. I mean, I think you've hit the mark in terms of the work that I've seen.
Well,
So
thank you.
your work, really, I mean, and that I've worn, and I can't wait to be able to go somewhere so I can at
I
least wear
know.
one of your beautiful skirts. So your work is all handmade by you. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
So you're going to tell us about your process in a little bit, but that means that from making the pattern to cutting the fabric and everything, it's all made by you. So, that's actually incomprehensible for most people that we would have a designer living here. We have one other one, Jenny Greek, that I interviewed, but that we would have someone who's making every single piece by hand and making quantities of things, right? And keeping it affordable. So let's talk about that a little bit. Like, I think it's really important to talk about pricing, like talk about some typical pieces. And I know we're going to show some photographs, but of off the rack, work that you've made when people come into your studio, a typical skirt or a blouse. Give me some price ranges so people can see if it's in their span.
Price range, like for dresses, they would go like from $98 for jersey dresses up to $148. Then if you have more tailored woven dresses that are lined, that might be a little bit more expensive. That might be around 190.
Mhm.
And then if you go into the custom work, then could be more expensive, but the general, it's about like $100 to $200 for dresses. For skirts, it would go around from 87 for jersey skirts up to 150 or so for line skirts.
Mhm.
Tops, they go from regular like short sleeve or cap sleeve tops. They would go from 58 up to 100.
Right.
I have some basic coats, like the one I just behind me.
Yeah.
I made not long ago, I think like 2 or 3 days ago. I had the fabric for a while, and I was a special fabric. I could get an only little piece. So this is really one of a kind, and I love it. It's classic but elegant.
Yes.
So that one retails for $168. It's 100% wool. And then if you have more heavier line coats that can go around 300, 400, up to 500.
I think that's great. I mean, you don't have to tell me every single piece. I think that was a great range of things that, to me, for a piece that I know is timeless, that I'm going to wear all the time, that I can accessorize. I mean, I think that's very affordable for somebody who's even somewhat fashion conscious. And we
Well,
have
the other thing, so if somebody comes to my studio, I can always do little custom adjustments. If somebody wants something that's a little bit shorter or a little bit tighter or a little bit looser, shorter, longer sleeves, I can make the adjustments too. So people really will feel like I'm really making something for them,
right.
even with the regular,
No,
not
I totally get
custom
it.
code.
Yeah, I totally get it. So let's and I think in the examples that you're showing during this time, we were going to flash up a photograph that showed the difference between, say, something off the rack and then some custom pieces, correct?
Yeah.
That was the photograph that people will be looking at.
Yeah. So you can see with the more custom or more elaborate pieces, there's that goes into it more, more how would you say, like a more design. I sometimes for those pieces I design the fabric too. So I add some appliques or I do some couching on a fabric so that fabrics looks different and it takes longer to make. So
that's fantastic. I didn't even realize you were also doing that. So we're going to move on because we're so curious about the process. And not just, I mean, I think there's some basic things about sewing most people would understand, but I think specifically your process in terms of even where you begin. Do you begin by saying, today I'm going to work with this fabric and see how many things I can make with this fabric? Or today I'm just going to make skirts and 10 different fabrics. I mean, how do you even know where to begin when you walk?
I don't even know. Well, sometimes, usually when I go to my studio, most of the time I know what I want to do. I either have some orders that I have to fulfill, or I have some ideas that I want to work with and see if it will work out well or not. And sometimes I just have no idea what I'm going to do, and I'm just fooling around. And sometimes just the best, the best pieces come into creation with like no effort. And then there's like one of my dresses that I still till this day, and I've been making that dress, been very one of my most popular pieces, and I still don't really know how I made it. It's just when I look at it, it feels like, well, that's not really me, but I did it somehow. And there was one of those days I came to my studio and said, what am I going to do? And I just did something and I don't even know how. And like, ooh, it worked. So
you're really an artist. You are quite an artist.
Well,
now help us out. And I think behind you, explain what is hanging behind you in the Zoom.
So behind me, they're all different patterns.
Okay.
So for each piece, I make, so I usually make a sample, see if I like it or not. And, different pieces, sometimes it happens right away. The first try, it looks amazing. Yeah. Sometimes I sketch what I want to make. And there are like few pieces that I sketch. I would go to my table, make a pattern, cut it, sew it, make the sample, and I look at it and I would say, wow, it's exactly as I want it to. And there are some other pieces that I have the idea and it just doesn't want to come together. And I have like some that are further behind, you don't see, patterns that they've been lying there like for maybe 10 years. And now and then I come back to them and so maybe I should try to revisit it. And hopefully one day it happens. So it's different. But those ones are patterns. And if I have a piece that I really like and I have my sample size and it fits well and I'm happy with it, that I would grade the patterns to different sizes. So like from extra small to extra large or any custom sizes. And then I'll just put it on my cutting table. That's right here. I have my pattern weights.
Ooh.
Put it on the fabric.
Okay.
And cut it. Sew it with my sewing machines right over there. There's my ironing board. And that's it. So everything
Everything is right there. And then
It is, yeah.
and I'm looking at a couple of bolts of fabric that I know you put there on the ironing board for us to look at. Just talk about the types of fabrics you use, just highlights of the types of fabrics you like to use.
I do use almost any kind of fabrics. I do like to work with prints, with jersey prints,
Mhm.
with solids. I love wool fabric. I love fabric that's different, that stands out, that really the fabric will make the piece,
Mm.
and you don't really have to add too many extra pieces, back to that new coat. I mean, when
Yeah.
you look at the lines, they're very simple lines, but the fabric is so rich, you don't really need anything else. And then, you have the little buckle closure, just a little, add to it, and you don't really need
Mhm.
much else. So I am looking for fabric that are a little
Yeah.
bit different. They stand out. They're unique, nice to, easy to wear.
Yeah. Where do
And
you
I
source?
usually,
Yeah.
yeah.
Where do you source your fabrics? I'm sorry to interrupt you, but do you have to go to New York or?
I do go to New York. I have some vendors. I usually get my fabrics. I do attend some trade shows for fabric too. But most of the fabric I have here, they're either from Italian or French mills.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. I mean, I love walking into a fabric store. It's always
oh
very
yeah, yeah.
exciting.
I always get in trouble. I have to
Yeah.
always take a deep breath.
That's right. So let's move on. I just want to briefly talk about custom work because that's always another level of challenge and creativity. Do you enjoy doing custom work? And maybe just talk about the one piece that you're going to show us here, the wedding
Well,
gown.
I do like custom work. I think custom work, I am, open to ideas. I'm not like just, that's my style and you have to have my style. Otherwise, I'm not making anything. No, I'm not like that. I'm really open to any ideas. And actually, I'm happy when somebody comes and says, oh, I want to make something like that. And then we'll just come together. I say, oh, that looks good, but it will not work. We have to tweak it. So it kind of the mind design aesthetics come into the ideas too. So it's kind of like a
Collaboration.
exactly collaboration. So I like it because there are some pieces that I'm like, oh, if somebody, it's like I can't make it, but I can, and I'm learning from it, and it's fun because I realize there are like certain things I can make that I wasn't even thinking I could. So
Yeah,
like that
that's great.
wedding gown, it's one of my favorite pieces, and when I see the picture, it's an amazing picture too, and
Yes. Is
right,
that somebody local that you did that for?
yes,
Oh,
yes,
great.
it's local. And when she sent me the picture, I look at it and I almost feel like, "Whoo, what a beautiful dress! I wonder who made it." It's like I almost didn't feel like I made it. Like, "Ooh, I really made it!" Like I had to like pinch myself that it's mine.
Oh,
So,
that's great.
and it was just amazing to see it come alive. With the different. With all that fittings, and we tried with the different fabrics, and really how the piece was coming alive. It was just it was amazing experience. So it was
That's
great.
great. So let me just switch to sort of the commercial side of your business for a moment, because really you really are the hidden gem over there in Manchester, I must say, Pavlina. So generally speaking, how do people find you? Because you are really in a unique place. Like, what's the best way to reach you?
So
Do you have open houses? Tell us about how you reach out to get people to your studio.
So I do open houses twice a year with each collection, and sometimes 3 times a year. But unfortunately, this year I haven't done anything. But people still can come to my studio. I do not have a regular opening hours, so they would have to email me or call me first to make an appointment. But anytime anyone wants to stop by, just call or email me, and I would love to see anyone, if they just want to see at the place what I'm doing, or if there's some little kids who is interested in fashion, wants to look around how the real fashion world looks, or my studio looks for inspiration, I'll be happy to see them. Then I have my Instagram and Facebook page, so they can follow me and see what I'm doing. And then I have few stores that are carrying my pieces too.
Oh, that's great. Anything in the area that carries your pieces, or?
So there is a store in Rockport called Coast and Country. They carry my pieces, and they have actually they just opened another store in Sudbury.
Oh, great.
And Madam Haddam in Manchester, she carries my pieces. We actually started to collaborate on upcycling designer bags. So using designer bags and making little closures and trying to incorporate them into my designs that actually look really, really cool. So if you have time, just stop by and see it. And Betsy Frost in Ipswich.
Oh, great. Great. Excellent. So you are getting out there. Good for you.
Slowly.
Yes, I know. It's great. Well, you're one of our top sellers at the runway show. So I know you have lots of future potential if you can keep up with the demand, because it is tough doing it all yourself. So we've been through such a challenging time as artists, which I know that you know, and I'm curious during this time whether this sort of somewhat isolation that we've all experienced has given you an opportunity to think differently about anything, create something different, do a project maybe that you hadn't thought you were ever going to do. I'm just curious, did it change anything for you the last 8 months?
For me, well, I never really thought I would make that many masks. It's I was but you know, it is what it is. It's just it's part of our life now. And so that was like one thing.
You jumped right on that one, huh? Yes. I believe, did you donate a lot of masks?
I did. Yeah, in the spring when there was real shortage of masks. So I did donate it to local hospitals and medical centers and for frontline workers and grocery stores. So I was making lots of masks, and actually it was very interesting and kind of filled my free time. So it was good, you know, and I had a good feeling that I did something that helped lots of people. So
yeah, no, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. But I know you have a young family and, you know, a lot of other commitments. So I'm sure that you kept very, very busy during this time. So we're going to wrap up soon. Is there anything you'd like to add before we sign off today?
Well, hopefully people will come and visit me and just follow me on Instagram and Facebook. Hopefully next year we will have an open studio here where people can come in and see what I'm working, and we'll be back to normal times.
Wouldn't that be lovely? But in the meantime, you did send me a beautiful video of your studio, and I will do my best to find a way to share that, and we'll be posting all of your information. So that people will contact you and come and see you, you know, one by one. So thank you to Pavlina Gilson for the Priemlov Studios in Manchester by the Sea. And I will look forward to sharing this video with everybody online and Facebook and YouTube, which is a great way to spread the word, and also on Instagram. And of course, on our local stations, Channel 12, on a regular schedule, which you can find in the Gloucester Times and also online. So with that, we're going to wrap up this episode of Cape Ann ARTWaves. Thank you, Pavlina.
Thank you.